Planet 1 year, and I would have been on the farm in Taranaki watching on with probably closed eyes in the middle of the night. So, yeah, I'm not too sure where you were, Razor.
Yeah, look, I remember both those tours. 96, it was an incredible moment for All Black rugby. You know, Fitzy and Marshy and some decorated All Blacks winning a Test series over there was an amazing moment in our history. So that's what I remember of it.
And then both of you can just follow that up by saying, how do you look forward to next year, and what does it mean for you both as a coach and as a player?
Yeah, I think it's, something that'll be a highlight of the career, touring South Africa. As a player, having toured there during Super Rugby for 2 weeks, I think going there for an extended period of time will be amazing for this team, and I guess both nations who, have a really strong rivalry, and it has been much highly anticipated since being announced, and I'm certainly excited about the prospect of going there and playing them in a three-match series.
Okay, Leighton.
Thank you, Callum. Scott, the coach, for you, please. Do you think the past two tests between the two sides has set up this greatest rivalry tour as the perfect platform? Looking at the shared series down in New Zealand in the Rugby Championship.
Yeah, you can look at it that way. I think touring's unique in itself. 7 weeks away, 4 tests, 4 URC games. It's just watching the Lion series and how they did it. You thought it would follow it with different eyes because you're doing it yourself the next year. They weren't playing at high veld. They weren't going up and down the country. Quite the same with the challenges that playing in the Republic has, but that's in a year's time. A lot can happen, but one thing for us is, it's as Scott said, that it's a unique part of our rugby careers and an opportunity for the New Zealand Rugby public and the South African rugby public to see two great rivalries go head to head.
And then just for Captain Scott, please, we know you enjoy quite the support here in South Africa, especially down here in Cape Town. Where do you hope the games will be hosted? Would you prefer down in Cape Town, or was I felt the place that you do want to take on South Africa?
Yeah, I think a mix. Particularly Cape Town. Yeah, it's an amazing city, and we've certainly had a lot of support there in the past. I think probably that support may be slowly dwindling. I think with that generation of supporters who got in behind the All Blacks. Around the tour times when there was a bit of controversy, and I think playing in the high veld in Ellis Park is certainly special in its own right as well. Or if it's Loftus, Versfeld, those are some certainly amazing and historic venues that would welcome, I guess, a test match against South Africa on that tour.
Okay, Jan again, yeah.
Thank you. Scott, well, coach, I say coach, Captain, sorry, the coach, this one's for the coach. The significance of this series, if you put in context of the rugby champs and other matches and test matches and year-end tours and mid-year tours, how does that elevate this rivalry between South Africa and New Zealand?
Oh, I think it's a moment in time really for the rugby world, like to do it. And you can have one every 4 years, and it just breaks up the global calendar nicely. And because we're just so patriotic and love our rugby so much, that the timing of it, especially before Rugby World Cup, gives us a chance to build depth in our squad and find out about ourselves, and what a place to go for to find out if you're mentally tough or physically tough, because it's the greatest challenge. So it's got a place in the global calendar, and we're looking forward to it next year.
Just a follow up, and it's a question I asked on the other call as well with Russia and them. And I know there's a lot of admin going in the background, which makes it difficult to answer. But would you like to see this extended to other countries? So New Zealand also going, instead of just a 2-match Bledisloe Cup, Trans-Tasman Bledisloe Cup, 2 or 3, 4 weeks in Australia playing the franchises, going to Argentina on a proper tour. Would you like to see them maybe going on a proper year-end tour with midweek matches?
It just took us a year to get this one sorted. I'm not sure we're going to start heading in any other places just yet. There's a lot of work and a lot of great work's been put into it. So firstly, I just want to thank everyone in the background for making this happen, and World Rugby as well for the support along with Sansa. So first things first, we'll just get this one and see how that goes, and enjoy that.
Well, so we'll go to you next, conscious of Scott Barrett's time. So if there's any further questions burning for him, let's take those now, and then he can dial off. So yeah, so off you go.
This was Scott Barrett actually. Scott, when you in light of what World Rugby have actually announced with player guidelines for 30 matches and all those breaks, how important does it become then to be able to balance tours along with the other matches around the international and franchise season?
Yeah, sure. I think that was going to be my next response, I guess, to that previous question around how much rugby actually fit into the calendar year. And I think, a tour in South Africa, any player in New Zealand who's gunning for that tour would want to be, playing their best rugby around that time. So I think in terms of an athlete and their preparation, they'll be wanting to be at the top of their game, which is quite fitting 12 months out from a World Cup as well, and great for the All Blacks and their preparations for 2027. But, that'll be the ultimate challenge, going to South Africa on a 7-week tour and a 3 test match series. Yeah.
Any final questions for Scott Barrett? Josh?
Yeah, cheers. Hi, Scott. The Lions talk a lot about the sea of red. Do you think we can expect sort of a sea of black? Will we see a lot of All Blacks travelling fans? And do you think that'd be a big boost to you and your team?
Yeah, that would be amazing. I know there's certainly a lot of fans around home in the Taranaki region who would love to get on the tour, and had a lot of friends and family request tickets. So I'm sure there'll be a lot of Kiwis heading over. It would be amazing to see a black over there and support riding behind the All Blacks, and what will be an amazing series.
And how physically challenging do you think a tour to South Africa would be?
Yeah, I think it'll be balancing the games beforehand and getting some form, and then ultimately you want to be playing 3 weeks in a row of what will be very intense and physically demanding test matches. So it'll be a pretty grueling prospect, but that's what it's all about, testing yourself on the world stage against the world champs at home.
Thanks.
Well, any final questions for Scott Barrett? Unless there's anything burning, doesn't look like it. Bro, thank you, Scott, for your time. We'll keep Razor on the line for the next 15 minutes or so.
Sweet, thank you. Cheers, Callum.
Okay, Alex.
Right, morning, or evening to you. Can I ask you a general comment about your for a general comment about the health of rugby at the moment? The talk about the R360, the unions put out a statement about that yesterday, and I just wonder, coming off the back of a very successful rugby championship, and obviously you're announcing ambitious plans for this today, how healthy a state you think the rugby's in at the moment?
Yeah, look, there's a lot of interest in the sport, isn't there? There's a lot of chat, there's a lot of opportunities, there's lots of money, there's lots of games, and my job as a coach is to prepare the team as best we possibly can and players to perform at their peak. And we manage our minutes and manage our training and get the balance of their workload, which is really important for us, but also get to peak for World Cups. So there's a lot going on, and yeah, we work really well, making sure our players get everything they need, and we're in line with World Rugby, so it's in a good spot.
Is it more difficult than ever with the counter threats, as I say, the R360 with players going to Japan, etc.? Does that make your job more difficult than maybe it's ever been?
It's definitely increases the challenge. It's obviously a question. It's a little bit loaded because it is true. Like there's a factor of it. Like there's more interest, there's more competition, there's money in the game. There's, we get 5 teams to choose from Super, and we've got a pinnacle team that everyone wants to make, and these are unique challenges of being the All Black coach, but that's what it is. We've always got talent coming through, and you've just got to make sure that, my job is to get the best out of them. But there's probably a few more headwinds, yes. Yeah.
Okay, Hugh.
Hi, Scott. Nice to see you.
Hugh?
Hi. Could you just talk a little bit about how we can build New Zealand and South Africa as the greatest rivalry from your point of view? Do you regard South Africa, the Springboks, as your greatest rivals? And what do you think, for example, the Australians make of that?
Yeah, it's good. I suppose it's a good angle. I think a lot of historical matches, a lot of history, very political, very on the edge. There's been so much history with us and battles with South Africa that, obviously that's why it's been termed that, and it's a good tagline, isn't it? Everyone will buy into it, and it's a bit of there's marketing, but there's more behind it than that, because there's so much historical rugby that's been played between the two of us. What does Aussie think of it? I honestly haven't thought about that, but geez, the last 2 matches, they were a hell of a battle in themselves. So this is just a different storyline in rugby.
And if I could follow up quickly, I mean, your own personal experience down the years, whether it's remembering matches when you were growing up that you watched or took part in or attended as part of this history.
Yeah, look, obviously got to play over there as a player from Super and Test rugby, and now as a coach in Super and in Test rugby, and there's nothing like it in regards to driving to Ellis Park. Like that's as extreme you can get it. Green everywhere, one of the most decorated amphitheaters of sport you can get, and to do it 4 times is going to be pretty special. You look back, and I mentioned, 96 when some courageous group of All Blacks went over there and did something no one else had done before, and that was a massive moment. And yeah, get to do it 30 years on. It's pretty special.
Well, okay, can you, sir?
Thank you very much. Razor, just a quick one from my side.
Mm.
Does the fact that the Boks and the All Blacks have won the last 4 World Cups make this rivalry probably the most envied game across hemispheres? Even though the Six Nations is a big tournament, it has a lot of standing, but the fact of the matter remains that the bull has not been across the equator since 2003.
What was that last part? Sorry, can you?
The World Cup has not crossed the equator since 2003.
Okay.
Yeah.
I understand now. Yeah, look, the rivalries and the biggest showcases. It's been a great run. Doesn't guarantee anything in the future, but what we can, as I mentioned before, with a tour like this, there's nothing else like it. You can play a rugby championship, you can play a World Cup, but play the same team 4 times in 4 tests and a touring in between. That's the unique in itself. There's, like I was saying before, this could be once in a lifetime for supporters and players to do. So that's so unique, and it's an opportunity that you just have to take and go head towards it. So it's different again to the World Cup, but it adds to our preparation. Yeah.
Okay, Josh.
Cheers. Hi, Razor. I just wanted to know if you think this tour would still have happened if the South African sides were still in Super Rugby, or do you think that absence has sort of helped foster the desire for some more clashes?
I hadn't thought about it come on that angle. It wasn't on my little protected potential list of questions. Probably not. Probably not. No, not when you pay them every year and go and play them again. So I think part of them being playing in the North has helped create this opportunity to tour.
And just in terms of the midweek games, sort of on the recent Lions tour, a lot of them were quite one-sided, quite disappointing sort of encounters. Do you think that absence from Super Rugby gives sort of an added value to these midweek games, and sort of clashes will be sort of more interesting than the ones we saw on the Lions tour?
Oh, look, I want to comment on the Lions, but what I can comment on is the URC teams have been right up the top of their competition. They've won it. They're in and around. They've got a lot of Springboks. They've got a lot of depth in South Africa. They're strong as they've ever been. So I assume all those games are going to be, I feel like, test matches in their own right. It'll be a hell of a tour, and every game will be tough.
Thank you.
Morning, Razor.
Okay, Ben.
Oh, sorry, can't jump me there. Morning, Razor. Just a question sort of following on from Hugh's one about your memories of playing in South Africa.
Yeah.
Back in the early days of Super 12, did you have many sort of back-to-back games where you got to kind of tour around and country?
Yeah, you did. You had a little Bull Stormers combo, hive out down to sea level and get to have a look around, the country. And it was pretty special, just so unique from hive out. And, like you might get the rain and the beautiful south, and the dry balls that just keep floating in the air up in the north. It's so unique, the contrasting styles of it. And also touring, you get to go out to the different parks, animal parks, and then you got to go surfing in Cape Town. So the beauty of South Africa was part of touring.
Thank you.
Got about 5 minutes left on the clock, everybody. Jan?
Thanks. Scott, you mentioned it now about surfing in South Africa. What's your favorite surfing spot in South Africa?
Oh, here we go. I've been to Durban for a number of years, but those piers were pretty special. Surfing off Bowpenny Pier and stuff like that was pretty cool back in the day. Didn't get too much. Obviously, I was playing back then, but look, staying in Umhlanga and Durban was probably closest to what that's a spot like I really enjoyed. Kings Park back in its day, all the braais beforehand, and everyone gets there hours before, and just that atmosphere, and it's a unique place to play rugby, and it's most of my favourite park to play.
Yeah, and did you ever surf in any of the famous southern spots on the south coast?
No, I didn't get to J Bay. We didn't have a game there, but didn't go there on a day off. So no, just around the Cape and Durban. So
thanks very much.
All good.
Well, good to go. Okay, thanks everybody for your time this morning. And I missed it at the top. These quotes and everything will be held until launch. We don't have the exact confirmed launch date just yet, but we will be in touch to confirm that as soon as possible. Thank you for your understanding. And thank you for the time this morning, everybody.
Cheers, Carl.
Cheers. Good luck. Bye-bye.
Yes, thank you.